just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Tonight, Prime Minister defends changes to the flag in Parliament. Climate change expected to cause health issues in coming years. And major reforms at Fiji National University. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has defended his decision to change the Fiji flag. There was a barrage of criticism from the opposition, however the government remains adamant on its decision. Akusita Tale has more.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama told Parliament the changing of the flag will be inclusive despite there being no referendum. There will be broad consultation around the country.
I will be writing a letter to the leader of the opposition in the next week or so, inviting her to make nominations for the panel, which we envisage to consist of up to maybe 10-15 members from all walks of life.
Bainimarama says there is no law that governs the design of a Fijian flag, only laws that restrict the use of the coat of arms.
Therefore, at the same time we are ready to hoist the new flag, my government intends to table a law in Parliament that will govern the usage of the flag, including provisions that deal with its desecration as well as its proper display, usage and care.
However, opposition MPs aren't entirely happy with the government's move.
I would say to the government side that they should take this opportunity, while they are talking about changing the flag through a referendum, to look at some of the other issues. I urge the Prime Minister to rethink how he is planning to change such an important national symbol, which is part of our history.
The best thing Fiji First can do is go for a referendum. Go for a referendum, Madam Speaker, and we'll settle this issue.
Fijians have been encouraged to participate in the flag design competition that ends in 2 months. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
More villages will be relocated due to rising sea levels caused by climate change. A symposium in Suva today looked at adaptation measures needed to mitigate against rising sea levels and its effects on our health.
Fiji's climate will become warmer, dry seasons will be drier, and rainfall and tropical cyclones will increase. These are all facts of climate change.
Around 800 communities in Fiji have been impacted by climate change. Of these, a projected 45 communities will have to be relocated in the next 5 to 10 years. These are coastal communities from the maritime islands and those who inhabit the major riverbanks.
These experts discussed what to do about the health impact of climate change. It's not just about the environment anymore.
A warmer climate is expected to both increase the risk of heat-related illnesses and death and worsens conditions for air quality. Number 2, climate change will likely increase the frequency and strength of extreme events such as droughts, floods and storms that threaten human safety and health. And number 3, climate change may allow some diseases to spread more easily.
The next relocation in Fiji will be the Wadi Wadi District School in Lakembalau. The school and its living quarters are inundated with seawater about 4 to 5 times in every school term. Global figures for harmful gas emissions show very little change. Canada is in fact increasing its emissions. Australia has committed to reduce emissions by 5%, while smaller Pacific nations have taken more bold and worthwhile steps to fight climate change. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
The Fiji National University is currently undergoing major reforms. Acting Vice-Chancellor Professor Ian Rouse says he is decentralising departments and faculties so they are independent and can make decisions without the VC. Chanel Sivan has more.
Professor Ian Rouse believes the heads of different disciplines should have the freedom to run their affairs to steer the university forward.
All the deans need to be empowered. They need to be involved in selecting staff, having their budget and spending it. But I think there's time now for greater empowerment of other senior people and a bit more flexibility within those rules. And I think then the university will really flourish. I mean, I think I couldn't work the way the previous Vice-Chancellor worked, which was basically everything came into the Vice-Chancellor's office. I'm not capable of doing that. I'm going to devolve.
He says the Fiji National University also wants to have more local and regional academics on its payroll. The teaching staff is largely made of expatriates from Sri Lanka and other countries because it's hard to find qualified teachers locally.
If you want to teach at a reasonable level, you've got to have people who've got a master's or a PhD. And if you looked in Fiji at the moment, we don't have a lot of people who are interested in being an academic who have higher level qualifications in those areas. So I think in the short term, maybe the short term might be, the next 5 years, we'll have to continue to recruit people to teach at the right level in some of these program areas.
Professor Rouse says there are young people who are passionate about being academics in universities and will be given the opportunity to further their education and come back as qualified lecturers, professors and heads of faculties.
We need to develop our own people into the future academics of a university like the Fiji National University. That has to be what our key priorities in our staff development plan. So I think that's working pretty well, but we're going to put more emphasis on that again this year as well.
The FNU enrollment for 2015 is estimated at around 35,000. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
High school teacher Elaine Chandra has lodged a complaint about her salary with the Ministry of Education. The science teacher from Rishikul Sanatan College in Asinu turned up at Parliament today to see the Education Minister personally. Sakiu Sanaivor has more on the story.
Elaine Chandra told FBC News her salary has been cut from $23,000 to $12,000, even though she's been a relieving teacher for a year. She went to the ministry to ask why she wasn't receiving her salary, only to discover the salary reduction.
I questioned them, what is my grade? And then they said, yours was 23, it was ED8G, and my commencement salary was 23,411. But they said one of the education officer has changed it back to 9A according to the directive of the Minister for Education.
As she claims she was told that her package is the same as that offered to the new graduates.
To the Minister for Education is that he said that this new directive, this new establishment that he has established, it's for the new graduates who have never taught before. I have already taught. And why is it that I was actually, my pay went from 23,411 back to 12.
Chandra wasn't satisfied with answers she got and went straight to the man on top, the Minister for Education.
I'm actually not that happy, but come to think of it, they're trying to generate employment for the ones who have been staying home. And plus, I'm actually happy that he said that he's going to rethink and relook at this decision and try to change, have some differences by the end of this year.
Dr. Mahendra Reddy did not wish to comment on the issue. Sekiu Sanebua, FBC News.
The government will continue to create ways to reduce unemployment, including policies and work schemes to provide jobs for 100,000 Fijians this year.
Fiji's unemployment rate stood at 8.6% in 2007, dropped to 6.9% in 2011, and this year the government hopes to decrease it to 5%.
Creating jobs is among this government's top priorities, and we are very determined and focused to build on the achievements of the past 8 years to create more jobs.
The National Employment Centre is one of the initiatives government created to provide employment opportunities.
This was designed and established to boost job creation and productivity by providing for the first time in Fiji's history a one-stop employment centre to upskill the unemployed and facilitate the employment opportunities with local and overseas employers as trainees, attached workers or volunteers.
The recognized seasonal employment scheme is expected to rake up more unemployed people.
The New Zealand scheme, which is employer-driven, was initially capped at 5,000 workers annually, but this number has been increased to about 9,000. And in order to take advantage of this opportunity, this government had endorsed our participation in the scheme on the 20th of September last year.
The policies and schemes are part of Fiji's national response to the ILO Global Pact endorsed in Geneva in 2009, which commits members to put in place strategies to counter the growing unemployment. Eleanor Turangaviu, FBC News.
After the break, Fiji Navy to carry out more border patrols.
Nisambula, oyo Mr. Ben. Kelapa. Nama kikira na vima taka moni tikira vorumbu kamena ono kena diwa Enabula FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Questions were raised in Parliament today about the level of contamination following the December sewage spill. Ellen Stahls reports.
Transparency.
Opposition member Nico Nawaikula called for the government to inform the public on the specific impacts of the sewage spill.
The public needs to know what's the contamination in scientific terms. You must have conducted a research on what the contaminations are.
Minister for Environment Praveen Bala responded, saying a committee had been looking into the issue and testing the water in the affected areas.
The continued restriction in the areas outlined are in the public interest. It will not do us any good to lift this restriction until the committee is satisfied with its complete safe to do so. I once again ask the patience from the public in this matter, for at the end of the day, it is their safety and health that we are protecting.
Acting Director for the Institute of Applied Sciences, Dr. Johan Poinapen and his team are responsible for testing the water and providing scientific evidence.
Preliminary testing we have conducted 2 weeks prior to declaring the environmental emergency have shown that the high level of the E. coli or fecal coliform bacteria in the water. And as a precautionary measure, we have said, okay, let's put an environmental emergency declaration for 4 weeks while we are analyzing the water, the fish and the sediments for these level of contamination.
Dr. Poinapen added that his team is still monitoring and conducting tests in areas under the environmental emergency declaration. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
The Fiji Navy is working to strengthen its maritime surveillance of Fiji's exclusive economic zone. Commander Navy John Fox says this year they are increasing their days out at sea. Eleanor Turangaviu reports.
The Fiji Navy controls and patrols Fiji's exclusive economic zone, approximately 1.3 million square kilometers of sea area. Surveillance is a mammoth task.
2 years ago, our target was 180 days at sea a year. For a ship to be at sea, 180 days at sea. Last year we increased it substantially to 250 days. This year we're trying to target 300 days for a ship to be at sea.
The Fiji Navy has 5 patrol boats. Each takes turn on patrol.
They just switch. One goes out, one comes in, and we usually work on that program. But sometimes maintenance catches up, and we might have to forego maybe about 1 to 2 weeks a ship based here in shore before they go out again.
At the moment, only 4 boats are in operation. The 5th one is undergoing a life maintenance.
So it's out of the picture until maybe towards the second quarter of the year. The 4 that remaining, we concentrate 2 on internal waters within our archipelagic waters and 2 for our EEZ for patrols.
The major refit is being done as the life years of the patrol boats have expired. $2 million was allocated to the Fiji Navy for the refit to strengthen surveillance of our extensive EEZ. Eleanor Turangai View, FBC News.
There's been a change in guard in the 3rd Battalion of the Infantry Regiment of the Army. Major Petero Talemai Vatuwiri is now the new commanding officer of the 3 FIR. Talemai Vatuwiri succeeds Lieutenant Colonel Manoa Ngandai, who takes up a new appointment as defense attaché to the UN under the office of the Fiji's permanent rep to the UN based in New York. At a handover parade, the Land Force Commander, Colonel Sitiveni Ngilio, thanked Ngandai for his dedication to the military. He also reminded Talemai Vatuwiri of the new challenge that lay ahead for him.
The challenge for you is to sustain that and make it better, and move it up to another notch.
Ngilio says the 3 FIR should be the best of all the infantry when it comes to skills, marksmanship, fitness and battle efficiency. Ngandai is expected to leave for his new appointment with UNIFIL in Lebanon soon. A grass cutter of VCC Lautoka is pleading for financial assistance to take his wife to India to treat stage 2 cervical cancer. Rajesh Narayan says his 51-year-old wife Parvati was diagnosed last November and needs $14,000 to get her to the Sadri Specialty Hospital in India. The family has managed to collect $13,000. Narayan says his wife's health is deteriorating and he urgently needs to take her for overseas treatment. Assistance can be sent to Westpac account number 98029091128 with the narration Parvati. Sports now, here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up in sports, no changes to Vodafone Fiji Sevens team for Las Vegas, and 4 national swimming records fall over the weekend. We'll have this and more after the break.
My name is Luca. I live on the 2nd floor.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. I hope you're having fun so far. You're listening to The Ride, and I'm Kara, taking you through your afternoon. Stay with me to listen to more awesome classics right here on The Ride. Mulabinaka, for awesome sounds in the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful classics. Join me on The Ride every weekday right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits from 2 to 7.
Just don't ask me what it was. I think it's 'cause
Vodafone Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan has decided against any changes for the Las Vegas tournament, which starts on Saturday. The team arrived in the country today in transit to the next leg of the series in the United States. Josephine Navula caught up with Coach Ryan on arrival and files this report.
After the tough battle and a disappointing plate win at the Wellington Sevens on Saturday, the Vodafone Fiji Sevens side arrived in the country today. Coach Ben Ryan says he is keeping the players from the Wellington tournament as they are capable for a better showing in the next tournament.
We're keeping the same 12. Everybody passed their medicals after the tournament. And I had a good look at all the games, and I think there's 1 or 2 players that I think deserve a second chance that haven't been in the team for long.
With the team is pooled with the Wellington Sevens champions New Zealand, Samoa and Wales, Ryan says he is looking forward to an improved showing.
It's getting very competitive, you know. Before the tournament, New Zealand were 4 points or 5 points behind us. Now they're 4 or 5 points ahead of us. We can overtake them again in Vegas, and we get to play them in our group, which is great. Gives us a chance to play with the current informed team on the circuit.
He adds it is vital for the team to perform in Nevada.
We've got to win the group, really. Beat Samoa, New Zealand and Wales, and then get ourselves into the finals. It's important that we do well this week, and we've got a team, even on a narrow pitch, that's capable of winning the title.
Fiji plays Wales and Samoa on Saturday with the final pool match against New Zealand on Sunday. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, in the Women's World Series, the TFL Fijiana finished with the bowl title at the Brazil Sevens. The side beat Spain 17-12 in the bowl final with a try to Ana Maria Ronguida and 2 tries to Lavinia Tinai. Meanwhile, in the Cup final, New Zealand beat Australia 17-10 to make it 2 tournament wins in a row. Fiji is now placed 8th on the points table with 14 points, dropping down 2 places. The next stop for the Fijiana will be the USA Sevens, which will be played on March 14th to the 15th. 4 national swimming records were broken during the long course Grand Prix competition at the Damoda Aquatic Centre on Saturday. With a host of major competitions coming up later in the year, Fiji Swimming Federation is impressed with the results so early in the season. Tale Ndaudakadaka has more.
219 swimmers competed in the first long course Grand Prix of the year over the weekend. Participants were from the 8 local clubs as well as the visiting CNC club from New Caledonia, and Fiji Swimming was happy with the performances during the event.
You know, the athletes look like they're in good shape, but to be fair to them as well, we've a lot of them really haven't taken much of a Christmas break. We've had development camps through the month of January with an Australian coach who we brought in with the assistance of the Sports Commission to help us basically build up the team towards the Pacific Games.
The 2015 Pacific Games may be the ultimate focus for Fiji Swimming, but they also have their eyes on other international competitions coming up later in the year.
There's the World Open Championships in Kazan later this year. There's also the Junior World Championships that's in Singapore around September, and we've also got the Commonwealth Youth Games as well in September. So quite a few events to look forward to, apart from, like as you're saying, the Pacific Games, of course.
The next long course Grand Prix event will be held on the 7th of March. Talento Dakavak, FBC Sports.
The Lambasa football side has taken a 1-point lead in the Galaxy Premier League competition, this after coming from behind to hold Suva to a 2-2 draw yesterday.
A long through pass again, across onto finding Puasa by Nivalo. He comes into the cross, and for Nikhil Chand, and Nikhil Chand has opened the account like he did when he made his debut. A great cross by Puasa by Nivalo, and the Lambasa defense were caught napping on that occasion, turning away, looking for support, looking to get them plays it back, but that would have been the chance to seal the game for Suva. And they come once again. Sakuraya Naisua slams it as he chests it down, and good support from Tony Tuibuna to Sakuraya Naisua. And in the 35th minute of play, it is Sakuraya Naisua that has put Suva up by 2-0. And we'll pick up play now on 38 minutes of play. And Edwin Scheim with a free kick for the Lambasa side, and an empty goal mouth it was too, as Rangata came out. It's 2-1 now. And Ilisoni loses it, but wins it again. Still Ilisoni Langibao. Langibao turns and plays a through pass for Edwin Scheim. And Master Edwin Scheim has equalized after the number of mistakes. Master Edwin Scheim in the 45th minute of play.
Lambasa is on 8 points, followed by Nandi on 7, while Nadruga, after its 1-0 win over Lautoka, is in 3rd position. In games this weekend, Lambasa meet Nandi in Subrail Park in what should be an exciting battle, as both teams are currently unbeaten in the league, while 3rd and 4th place Nandrunga and Ba face off at Lawanga Park, Singatoka. In other matches, Lautoka hosts Tailevu Naita Asiri, while Suva meets Rewa in the capital. The Senior League will also get underway this weekend. Athletics Fiji is happy with the progress being made by athletes towards preparing for the 2015 Pacific Games in Papua New Guinea. So far, 15 athletes have qualified for the regional competition after its first round of trials.
We really didn't expect 15 athletes to hit the qualifying marks, but they have this early in the season, which puts us sort of ahead of our progress. And as we speak, we're on good stand. We're on good stand towards our preparation for the Pacific Games. We have a lot of athletes who came close to qualifying, but they still have a long way to go. Most of them are from secondary school, and their preparation towards the Coca-Cola Games will boost their preparation towards qualifying and making the team.
The Pacific Games will be held on July 4th to the 18th. That's it from sports this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Reserve Bank Governor Barry Whiteside says inflation was 0.1% in December, largely due to the falling oil prices. Whiteside says it is projected to remain within the comfortable range this year, as the pressure from rising demand is expected to be dampened to some extent by falling oil and food prices. The RBF says despite the surge in imports, the overall balance of payment position continues to be supported by record tourism and remittances inflows. Foreign reserves are around $1.8 billion, enough to cover 4.6 months of retained imports of goods. Partial indicators reveal continued buoyancy in consumption and investment, while major sectors such as tourism and sugar performed better than expected last year. Occasional showers and few thunderstorms prevailed over most places today. A trough of low pressure with associated cloud and showers lies slow moving over the group. Warm temperatures over the major centres, with 3 places hitting 32 degrees this afternoon. Tomorrow's forecast is for cloudy conditions, developing into showers and thunderstorms in the evening. Outlook for Wednesday: occasional showers and thunderstorms over most places. Recapping our main stories, Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama says the changing of the flag will be widely consultative despite there being no referendum. Experts say climate change will begin to have negative impact on health, and Fiji National University undergoes reform. Results from last week's poll question: should managers travel with Fiji soccer teams on overseas trips? 75% answered yes. This week we asked, do you agree that the Fiji flag should be changed? Visit our FBC website to take part, www.fbc.com.fj. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for tonight. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good evening.